What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your man, Big Cheds. I'm here with Big Jonas, coming to you guys live, second time in a day. It must be Christmas, right? How are we doing, Big Jonas?
Doing pretty good, Chad's doing pretty good. Happy to be here tonight.
All right, guys, let's jump right in here. I know we're kind of wondering what's going on. We had our daily candle close a little while ago, and we've, as anticipated, we're doing our sideways here. What's notable is they had a larger range than the prior day. That's what kind of jumps out to me here. So we had a little bit more volatility, Big Jonas, with this green candle than the prior red candle. That's kind of one thing that jumps out to me. Just on the daily, the prior day, and then right here we just had kind of another big red day, but still inside that consolidation zone. So we're kind of just going along. Let me try again. I'll try to say something more intelligent. That was a little boring. So we were looking at Bitcoin earlier, and we had a little move here recently, so where we saw kind of an oversold dip. So we'll jump right in. We're starting to see some dojis here. We did see a nice hammer candle here. We did see this spinning top, a bullish spinning top. So we are kind of looking to see if there's a little bit of follow through, Big Jonas. What do you see right now? If you're in Bitcoin, and what's going on? What are your feelings?
Well, Chads, earlier today when we had our earlier show, we were talking about the trend line, which we were kind of trying to hold above. Had a few times where we broke 9,000, kind of with just a little wick, but not much volume, not much conviction. Kind of back tested there, the middle Bollinger here in the 1 hour. And then, earlier this afternoon, everything kind of fell apart there when the volume kind of dried up, and it really felt like they had tried enough times to pierce that 9,000 range. We can zoom out to the 4 hour here just to have a quick look in terms of how far we actually have been able to reset here. So we'll look at the RSI there, the stock RSI. We basically see we're basically trying to reset there on the down. And that's something that we wanted to see in a reset there if we were kind of slightly overbought. But that where it is currently in the channel tells us, there's a lot of downward pressure still potentially yet to come. We're basically seeing this nasty red candle that closed yesterday's price action, still holding up above the lower Bollinger here, kind of range bound in the 4 hour. Wouldn't be surprised if the lower Bollinger test is where we're headed next. OBV is still pretty decent, not too terrible here, and the volume though kind of has trailed off all day long here. So we are flagging sideways, kind of in this downward trend there, but we haven't broken yet this current impulse wave, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some continued sideways momentum.
Good call. I was just kind of drawing this trend line while you were talking, Big Jonas, and once again, guys, this is Big Cheds coming to you live Saturday, March 24th, 2018. Find me on Twitter at Big Cheds. Definitely check out the blog, chedstrading.blogspot.com. A lot of great articles for you guys. If you're just getting new to trading, you want to know how to get started, this is the complete beginner's guide to cryptocurrency trading. You'll find it at chedstrading.blogspot.com. I drew this trend line here, and so obviously we're looking for support. When you have a pullback, what you want to do is you want to try to guess where the support's going to be. And we are obviously seeing some obvious spots where we would find some support here on these prior candle opens and closes. So we're going to be potentially approaching a lower Bollinger or classical support area, Big Jonas, where you see a move, Big Jonas, like we had right here off the lower Bollinger. And this is actually a Morningstar pattern where we did have this doji, and then the follow-up confirming third candle there. So we might see something like that, either up here or lower, but we want to see ideally this support level hold. On the 1 hour, real quick, and we'll jump over to Litecoin Ethereum. Like I said, on the 1 hour, we had this big pullback. Any type of movement like this you see within 3 hours, Big Jonas, it's going to take a time for it to catch up, even if it's going down another 1,000. Okay, it's going to go sideways a little bit first because you have a little bit of a renegotiation, right, with the bulls and the bears.
Yeah, the market's basically trying to find really what we have here. Are we coming down because this is a continued solid consolidation of our sideways pattern? Remember, we bottomed at about 72,200 back almost a week ago, it seems. So this whole week, we still are holding a higher low compared to where we were a week ago, even though we are experiencing this sideways action. So this current trend has not broken yet. But you have to ask yourself, where are we going to test that trend break if we get to it? And basically, if we bottomed a couple days ago on this current run at 82.50 to 83, depending upon which exchange you're on, that's your moment there. If we bounce that a little bit and then we break through, especially with conviction, where we're headed, because what took us up here were these two massive candles when we bottomed, and that is one of those examples of where we go up really quickly in one massive candle. When we break through the support, that basically comes resistance, and we can fall right through that pretty fast in some price action.
Yeah, just to put things in perspective, you see these three white soldiers here? We're still consolidating within that third soldier almost, right at the bottom of that. So you've actually made quite a nice gain here already. So thus far, in 1 to 4 full days of consolidation, you were able to hold. You really only gave back 1 day of gains in 4 days of consolidation. So you're still getting a little bit of a reset here. Let's take a look at Litecoin real quick, and then you can take us through the GDAX, take us through the order flow. We'll get people back on the road here. I want to just give you guys a quick update. That's what we're doing. A couple guys just talking crypto. We're not advisors. We're just a couple friends having fun. Real quick on the 1 hour, you are reaching a logical support area. I am seeing a similar patterns back here where we have these lower shadows. We have our bullish spitting top here. We had another one here, and you have a hammer candle. So you'd hope to put in a similar type of a setup here. We're potentially doing that with that stochastics RSI showing oversold and potentially crossing back up. But big showiness, I'm still seeing weakness on this chart in the on-balance volume. What are you seeing?
Yeah, Chaz, this one's kind of been following suit with Bitcoin's price action this afternoon. As we see, once it broke on, this is the hourly here, once we broke the upper Bollinger, looks like last night around 168, I remember thinking to myself, is this that next push that's going to ride Litecoin past the 174, 175 resistance wall and into the 180s? And it was a complete fake out. It was a bear trap. We had a few wicks there and kind of a spinning top doji there, and then that basically broke down ever since. There was a kind of a little mercy bounce there because it was a little oversold when it hit the lower Bollinger there on the 1 hour. And basically what I'm seeing here now is a little reset on the 1 hour, which is great, but we zoom to the 4 hour, we see a couple of things. We see basically it is kind of trending in this downward channel here. The Bollinger is showing us we're kind of trending down as well, even though we are slightly tightening, which we like to see a consolidation there. And this kind of a flagging pattern here, it still could technically be a bullish flag situation here as long as we kind of trend sideways, consolidating from a really nice move we had almost a week ago. But the 4 hour stock can suggest we could have a little more downward momentum. And with Litecoin, it is an alt. Even though it is one of the big ones, it is an alt. And whatever Bitcoin does in the next several hours, several days, I'm sure Litecoin will dictate that. I want to say one more thing about the price. You really want to hold, kind of psychological price points. I really wanted to see it hold at 160 level. Now, when we broke 160, you have to ask yourself, okay, are we bringing buyers into the market? Do they feel like that's actually a good price loan? Or do they feel in a couple hours from now, or even a day, they can buy it a little bit lower?
Look at this, look a bear pattern here on the 15.
Yeah, basically when we had that super drop there on the 15, which is kind of your day trading time frame there, what we're seeing is super drop, bearish wedge beginning to form, almost a bearish flag there, and that basically foreshadows a continued drop in price. Potentially, we're kind of basically drift down into the 150s, which I wouldn't be surprised. And because the thing is specifically with Litecoin right now is, as Bitcoin begins to slowly trickle down, what I also want to see is we kind of see any divergence between the Bitcoin-Litecoin price ratio. One seems to be following another. Actually, Bitcoin was slightly a little more bullish than Litecoin was. So I'd like to see if I see any divergence in there, if Litecoin's holding up better as Bitcoin falls a little lower or vice versa.
All right. So yeah, I'm just having fun drawing lines here. You can tell as a kid I didn't I didn't draw within the lines. I was kind of outside the lines. Ethereum is going to be probably a little bit similar. We're seeing that similar type of movement where what's notable to me, Big Jonas, is on this initial drop down here, which I'm highlighting with my mouse. It didn't even have the strength to do kind of like a fake dead cat. So you're kind of arguably doing something like that. You are consolidating within a bearish pattern here. We are within a pattern right now on the 15-minute. You can see it. It's a flag, and you're within the flag. It could break up, break down. So that's Ethereum 15-minute. Let's just get a little more outside view. You're seeing sideways here. We're going to go 4 hour. Similar to the other ones, Bitcoin, Litecoin. What you want to see, obviously, is you want to see a higher low close. So in any type of situation where you're hoping for a rally, Big Jonas, it's all about that higher low. Is that right?
Yeah, Chad, that's pretty accurate. And what we're seeing with Ether is, kind of similarities with Bitcoin. So, honestly, it's held up a little better than the rest. It actually has had, still continues a higher percentage bounce, I believe, than Litecoin or Bitcoin had at their recent bottoms. And it's definitely holding a more of a sideways action than kind of a complete kind of downward sideways action. The 4 hours suggest it could be a little topped off here and come down. OBV's been pretty steady in this kind of 4 hour zone here. I was actually reading a lot about how, because Ethereum, a lot of the alt tokens are based on the Ethereum platform. There's a lot of confluence in terms of how EOS is trading and how it has something to do with the price action of Ethereum. So those are one of the things that might be kind of, might be kind of affecting Ether maybe slightly differently in terms of price action as the way Bitcoin affects Litecoin.
Yeah, that's a really good point. All right, so let's what do we want to do here? Just kind of finish up and say, take one or two requests, or should we? Let's take one or two. I don't want to tease it. Let's go for it.
Well, for starters, it's great to see everybody here in the chat. It's kind of an impromptu live performance tonight. Chaz and I have been watching the price action with Bitcoin all day long, and it's kind of happy to see that we got people that just want to talk and discuss and just kind of get some sort of insight as to what we think might be happening here with price action. This morning's broadcast, we're talking about weekend price action and kind of how that can affect the market in terms of volume. Are we going to see a lot of volume flow in on Sundays? Is that kind of a day where you think we might be bottoming? Might be a day where there's going to be low price action and there kind of downward pressure. So right now we're in this kind of zone of what we described this morning of a no trade zone based on a kind of a risk versus reward situation. As we see continued movement. Actually, let's talk about GDAX. Actually, maybe you can see.
So yeah, this is the point you were making. I mean, when you want to trade Bitcoin, you like the action, it's fun, it's your favorite coin, you follow it. But when there's not a play, there's not a play. You don't want to force it. So I put up this tweet. I'm just, this is to pass the time. When I think I'm being witty, I'm trying to say, hey, look how smart I can sound. I'm just having fun, guys. I know, Big Jonas. Why don't you wrap it up for us here real quick on the GDAX? I want you to kind of tell us what you're seeing for some strength or weakness here. Let's give these guys a little edge.
Yeah, I've been watching the price action all day, and I'm actually noticing something that I really haven't seen very much. It's because Bitcoin over the past few months has had so much money flow in it. You can kind of get a sense on the 5 minute. I don't suggest using this for a full trading platform, but what you get a sense of is kind of what kind of money is flowing into this. And what I'm seeing here is there's a couple spans of 5 minutes here where we're seeing barely any Bitcoin be traded. I mean, very low money flow volume right now, some of the lowest I've seen. And that's kind of telling me that there's liquidity out there, but there's just not enough buyers here because it feels like market sentiment is that this price point is going lower. Let's just check out the daily real quick and just kind of see where we ended up in terms of the grander scheme of things here. Again, it was kind of a bearish engulfing off yesterday's decent looking candle. There was actually a little bit of optimism about how we closed yesterday. But as you can see, the volume from our low we had back in early February has continuously dropped, and now we're kind of back to those super low volume days. That's kind of, we're just hovering here, waiting and waiting and waiting. Let's kind of minus out the depth chart here all the way down, and I'm still seeing some money in the market here. I wouldn't say we're super bearish right now, but we have changed our trend that we were looking at earlier today. It was more of a slightly more bullish trend. Right now, we can kind of see there's some bearishness. And what I mean by that is you got to ask yourself, where is the money parked right now? Where is the money waiting to get filled? And because the green here is so much larger, that tells us that a lot of the money is parked at a lower price point. And that's kind of telling you, well, the market thinks this run has kind of run its course and it's going to be a lot more downward pressure. So if you're a trader, you probably should be in fiat now, or kind of figuring out how low you're willing to take a dip here, and make sure you ladder those buys, because right now, you know, a few days ago I was looking for that 8.2 to 8 bottom, but because of how we're trending right now with the lack of volume, you know, we could break that 8,000 on the down and kind of piercing back into the sevens again. You know, you want to look for those extreme oversold regions. A pierce of the lower Bollinger on a quick candle on the hourly would suggest an oversold area. So those kind of risk versus reward advantages are what you're kind of waiting for. I'm just going to buy my time here until I see decent volume coming back in, or an extreme oversold position, which would basically be a position you want to take advantage of. You know, until I see those situations, I'm just going to be patient in my trade.
I love it. Words of wisdom, my friend. Guys, this is Big Cheds. We're coming to you live. Just try to give you a little bit of perspective. I am Big Cheds. Twitter at Big Cheds, chedstrading.blogspot.com. Subscribe on YouTube, Cheds Trading. My partner in crime is Big Jonas. He provides a great angle. For me, I'm going to look at Bitcoin. I'm always trying to figure out what kind of like a medium-term channel we're in. We all know how we feel about the daily. I look at this 4-hour chart. I still see a daily because in my mind in the daily, I know I have these 3 candles up here, and you have a consolidation. And if you check prior shows, I talked about the fact that we're going to need consolidation. We're going to go sideways. And I even said bulls can force sideways. That's kind of what you want. You want to force sideways. So I'm looking for a channel because I want to know where we're at. And I'm going to go ahead and say we're in this channel right now. I'm going to say this is our upper trend line. I have a 1, 2, 3. You know, I have a 4-point upper trend line, and I have a multi-point lower trend line. So that's going to give me. I just need a methodology, Big Jonas. You know, if I feel like I don't know what it's doing, then I feel like I'm helpless. So I say in my mind it's going sideways after bouncing off the bottom on the daily, and right now it's at a 4-hour consolidation pattern with 2 clearly defined upper and lower trend lines. So if I'm looking for a signal, I'm looking for perhaps a break of one of those trend lines. Did you want to say anything else before we sign off? I feel like we're leaving these folks in a good place right now. We'll give them a nice little update.
Yeah, Chads, I think you really said it all. It's really nice to see all of the fans kind of here on the forum. We want to kind of make this kind of an easy flow follow through. We don't like to pump anything. We like to offer honest opinions about what we're seeing about price action. We're definitely going to be on tomorrow with a little bit of a longer show. We can do your chart request, look at a bunch of alts, kind of the alts that had the biggest volume in the day, see where Bitcoin's at, see where it's heading, kind of give it thoughts about the week ahead, any news out there that might be influencing some price action. So I'm grateful to see you guys, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Here you go, buddy.
All right, that was Big Jonas, and this is Big Cheds. We're signing off, guys. Stay safe. Tip your waiter. Bye.